Most people think government policies fail because leaders are dishonest, lazy, or incompetent. Sometimes that is true, but that is not the full story. Government policies fail because a good idea on paper is not the same as a working system in real life. In simple words, policy failure happens when the government announces a solution, but the solution does not solve the actual problem, does not reach the right people, wastes money, creates new problems, or collapses during implementation. Think about a government announcing a new education reform. The goal sounds good: improve schools, train teachers, update curriculum, and help students learn better. But if teachers are not trained, schools have no basic facilities, exams still reward memorization, budgets are delayed, data is fake, and local officers do not monitor properly, the policy will fail. Not because education reform was a bad idea, but because the system behind it was weak. And sometimes we see the same thing in daily life without realizing it. Imagine a restaurant owner says, "From today, we will improve customer service." That is a policy. But if staff are not trained, complaint handling is unclear, kitchen timing is slow, managers don't monitor orders, and no one checks customer feedback, nothing changes. The announcement was easy. Execution was missing. Government works the same way, just on a much larger scale. One major reason policies fail is wrong problem definition. If the government misunderstands the problem, the solution will also be wrong. For example, if a city thinks traffic congestion is only caused by too many cars, it may keep building more roads. But the real issue may be poor public transport, bad urban planning, illegal parking, weak enforcement, or office timings. When the diagnosis is wrong, the treatment fails. Another reason is poor implementation. This is where many policies die. The plan may look perfect, but departments may not coordinate. Funds may arrive late. Staff may not understand their roles. Local offices may lack capacity. Citizens may not know how to access the service. Corruption may enter the process. A policy does not fail only in parliament or cabinet. It often fails in the local office, school, hospital, police station, or district department where real delivery happens. Policies also fail because of political pressure and short-term thinking. Governments often want quick results before elections, so they announce popular policies without proper planning. They may choose what sounds good instead of what actually works. A serious policy needs data, budget, timeline, legal support, responsible departments, and evaluation. But many policies are designed more for headlines than long-term results. Then comes the problem of resources. A government may promise free healthcare, better schools, clean water, housing support. But if the budget is weak, staff are missing, equipment is poor, and systems are outdated, the promise becomes unrealistic. You cannot deliver a national-level service with a speech and a poster. You need money, people, infrastructure, data, and discipline. But here's the catch. Sometimes governments do have money, and the policy still fails. Why? Because spending money is not the same as solving problems. If procurement is corrupt, contractors are weak, monitoring is fake, and performance is not measured, the budget disappears, but the public problem remains. A road may be built and break after one rainy season. A hospital may receive equipment, but no trained staff. A welfare scheme may exist, but the right people may never receive support. Another major reason is lack of evaluation. Governments love launching policies, but they often avoid asking whether the policy actually worked. Did it help the right people? Did it reduce the problem? Did it waste money? Did it create side effects? Without honest evaluation, failed policies keep returning with new names. The government changes the slogan, but the failure stays the same. And here is the brutal truth. Many policies fail because no one is truly accountable. If a policy fails and nobody loses position, nobody explains the failure, nobody audits the spending, and nobody fixes the system, then failure becomes normal. Departments learn that announcements matter more than results. Politicians move to the next promise. Citizens are left with the damage. So government policies fail for many reasons. Wrong diagnosis, weak planning, poor implementation, corruption, lack of resources, bad coordination, political interference, weak data, no evaluation, and no accountability. But the biggest reason is simple. Governments often underestimate the gap between making a decision and delivering real change. At the Learning Studio, we will not study policy failure like a boring textbook issue. We will understand it as the place where public promises are tested by reality. Because once you understand why policies fail, you stop asking only, what did the government announce? And start asking the better question. Was the policy designed, funded, implemented, monitored, and corrected properly, or was it just another promise built to fail?